Okay, setting proper motivation with 3 points: refuge field, Bodhicitta field, and the purpose of this practice. First, for the refuge field, what to visualize and how to visualize. Buddha Shakyamuni, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and all the Buddhist Bodhisattvas as so loving, caring, and embracing. And for the Bodhicitta field, again, what to visualize and how to visualize. Visualize your two kind parents and your all your family members, including children, and all of the dear mothers and beings, all the members of Thosamling, and the staff, the kitchen staff, the cleaners, gardeners, all the people who bring the rations from outside on the back to the nunnery here, and everyone connected with the nunnery, animals, insects, hungry ghosts, help beings, god and goddesses, spirits, likewise all the beings in your own country, in the world, in the Milky Way galaxy, and in the entire universe. And how you visualize them, that you are like the mother and all other cellular children, where you are so loving, caring, and embracing, and sensible. And the purpose of this practice is to awaken this incredibly precious treasure, the ultimate treasure that exists within each one of us, referred to as the seed of perfection, or the Buddha nature, the Tathagata. And while this incredibly most precious teacher, the treasure is within us, why it's not visible is because it is mixed with the metal dirt, the metal defilements. It's only through removing metal defilements that this treasure can manifest in the form of the total fearlessness and infinite happiness, where all the miseries are being made remote. And how we do that? By applying the remedies. But to apply the remedies, we need to know the nature of the mental defilements. And the mental defilements, the nature, we see that is of two kinds, gross and subtle. The gross are referred to as afflictive obscurations. The presence of this stops us from attaining but the infinite, the total fearlessness, referred to as the nirvana. And this version of defilement is of three kinds: contaminant karmas, afflictions, and the active seeds. And all these three boil down to self-grasping ignorance. And the cognitive obscuration, on the other hand, that is the subtle mental stains, extremely subtle imprints, latencies led by the afflictive obscurations. The presence of this stops us from attaining infinite happiness, referred to as the Buddhahood. And the remedy lies in the wisdom, the counterforce of all these mental defilements. And the wisdom is the wisdom of emptiness, not any wisdom, but a very specific wisdom, that to the non-dual wisdom of emptiness of the Bodhisattvas. And this wisdom, to reach to that level of the advancement of the wisdom, it must be first preceded by the conceptual experience of the wisdom of emptiness. Now, for this matter, you must have the wisdom drive through meditation, which must be preceded by the wisdom drive through reflection to gain conviction. Without gaining conviction of what emptiness is, the wisdom of meditation, it is impossible. And to gain this conviction in the wisdom of emptiness is done through the wisdom drive through reflection. And for this, you need a lot of information about emptiness, knowledge about emptiness, which is only possible through the extensive studies known as the wisdom drive-through studies, wisdom drive-through learning. And all these must be supported by the very powerful motivation, Bodhicitta. And this Bodhicitta is possible to be generated, only if you have the experience of what renunciation is. So, but this, the awareness of the need of the three principal paths, the renunciation, bodhicitta, wisdom of emptiness, supported by a very powerful single point meditation. This is how we're going to experience, unravel this hidden treasure of the Buddha energy within us. So, with this sheer motivation, very powerful motivation, help yourself and help all other demonstration beings. Let us turn to page 3 of the place of the non-dual bodhicittas. And imagine that you are leading this recitation, the practice, and all beings are joining you. And to by great compassion, you taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. And to by great compassion, you taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. And to by great compassion, you taught the Immaculate Dharma to dispel all perverted views. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By my accumulations for practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By my accumulations for practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. By my accumulations of the practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. Sanje Joda Zogi Chonam No Chanju Bardo Dame Gyaksoche Age Jinso Kebe Sonamge Dola Benjir Sanje Drubara Jo Sanje Joda Zogi Chonam Chanju Bardo Dame Gyaksoche Age Jinso Kebe Sonamge Dola Benjir Sanje Drubara Jo Sanje Joda Zoge Chonam Tane Yabzoje Dage Jinso Gebe Sonamge Dola Benjir Sanje Drubara Jo. Independent origination, there is no ceasing, no arising, no annihilation, no permanence, no coming, no going, no separateness, no sameness. I prostrate to the consummate Buddha, the supreme among all teachers, the one who taught this peace, which is the freedom of aberrations. I prostrate to the mothers of the laid here seeking pacification and complete peace, which through the knowledge of past, those migrants achieve the aims of the world. Transform the reliable guide, motivated by altruism to benefit sentient beings, the teacher, survivor, and protector to heal my frustrations, the one who has eliminated the web of conceptualizations and is endowed with the divine Bodhisattva and the profound, for eternally shines forth the forever noble light rays. To you, the make inspired by wisdom and compassion, today in the Buddha's presence, I generate the mind of full awakening for the benefit of all sentient beings. Om Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhavam Hetum Dejam Dathagato Yavatat Desham Chayo Nirodha Evam Vati Mahashramanaye Swaha. Om Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhavam Hetum Tesham Dathagato Yavatat Desham Chayo Nirodha Evam Vati Mahashramanaye Swaha. Om Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhavam Hetum Tesham Dathagato Yavatat Desham chayo nirodha evam bhakti mahashramanaye swaha. All phenomena arise from causes. So body grace here. Profound, peaceful, elaboration free, clear light and non-composite. Such a nectar like Dharma I've discovered. Finding no one who can fathom this teaching in silence I've returned to words. Beyond utterance, thought and expression is the professional wisdom, which is unborn, unceased and has the nature of space. Is the object of apprehension of self-realized wisdom. To you, the mother of the Buddhas of the three times of obeisance. All composite things are impermanent. All contaminated things are the nature of suffering. All phenomena are the nature of emptiness and selflessness. Transcendent sorrow is peace. The Guru is the Buddha, the Guru is the Dharma, likewise the Guru is the Sangha. The Guru is the source of everything wholesome. I go for refuge in the Guru. By the sound of the vibrant drum of Dharma, you liberate all beings of miseries. I beseech you to kindly remain and give teachings until the end of the expanse of billions of eons. The Buddha does not wash the negativities of beings, nor does he remove their miseries by his hands. His spiritual realization is not transferred with them. It is by teaching the truth of the suchness that the beings are liberated. With folded hands, I beseech the Buddhas of all directions to shine light of Dharma for all bewildered miseries gloom. If you are attached to this life, you are not a spiritual practitioner. If you are attached to samsara, you have no renunciation. If you are attached to your own self-interest, you have no bodhicitta. If there is grasping, you do not have the view. Page 14, Praise to Buddha Shakyamuni. To the founder, the endowed, transcendent destroyer, the one gone beyond, the full destroyer, completely perfected, full awakened being, perfect in knowledge and good conduct, Sugata, knower of the world, supreme God of human beings to be tamed, teacher of the gods and human beings. To you, the complete and fully awakened one, the endowed, transcendent destroyer, the glorious conqueror, the subduer from the Shakya clan, I prostrate, make offerings, and go for refuge. When, O supreme amongst humans, you were born on this earth, you paced on 7 strides, then said, I am supreme in this world. To you who are wise, then I prostrate. With pure bodies, formed supremely pure, wisdom ocean like a golden mountain, fame that blazes in the 3 worlds, winner of the best, Lord, to you I prostrate. With a supreme science, face like a spotless moon, color like gold, to you I prostrate. Dusty like you, the 3 worlds are not. Incomparable wise one, to you I prostrate. The Savior having great compassion, the Founder having all understanding, filled of merit with qualities like a vast ocean, to you the Tathagata I prostrate. The purity that frees one from attachment, the virtue that frees one from the lower realms, the one path, the sublime pure reality, to the Dhamma that pacifies I prostrate. Those who are liberated and also show the path to liberation, wholly feel qualified with realizations, who are devoted to the precepts, to you the Sangha I prostrate. Do not commit any non-virtuous actions, perform only perfect virtuous actions. Subdue your mind thoroughly, this is a teaching of the Buddha. A star, a visual aberration, a flame of lamp, and an illusion. A cloud sea conditioned things as such. Through this marriage, may sentient attain the rank of all seeing. Subdue the 4 falls and be delivered from samsara's ocean, perturbed by the waves of aging, sickness, and death. Heart Sutra, page 29. The Heart Sutra, the Professional Wisdom Sutra. I prostrate to the irretrievable gem. Thus did I hear at one time the Buddha was dwelling on Master Vulture's mountain in Rajgriha, together with a great community of monks and a great community of bodhisattvas. At that time, the Buddha was absorbed in the concentration on the categories of phenomena called profound illumination. Also at that time, the Bodhisattva, Mahasattva, Avalokiteshvara looked upon the very practice of the profound illumination of wisdom and beheld those 5 aggregates also as immanent. Then through the power of the Buddha, the Venerable Shariputra said this to the Bodhisattva, Mahasattva, Avalokiteshvara: how should any child of the lineage who wishes to practice the activity of profound professional wisdom train? He said that, and the Bodhisattva, Mahasattva, Avalokiteshvara said this to the Venerable Shariputra: Shariputra, any son of the lineage or daughter of the lineage wishes to practice the profound professional wisdom should look upon it like this, wherein repeatedly beholding those five aggregates also as the empty of inherent nature. Form is empty, emptiness of form. Emptiness is no other than form. Form is also not other than emptiness. In the same way, fading, discrimination, composite factors, and consciousness empty. Shariputra, likewise, all phenomena are empty, without characteristic, unproduced, unceased, stainless, not without stain, not deficient, not fulfilled. Shariputra, therefore, in emptiness there is no form, no feeling, no discrimination, no common factors, no consciousness, no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no visual form, no sound, no smell, no taste, no object to touch, and no phenomenon. There's no I element, and so on, up to and including no mind element and no mental consciousness element. There's no ignorance, no extinction of ignorance, and so on, up to and including no aging and death, no extinction, no aging and death. Similarly, there is no suffering, origination, cessation of the path. There's no exalted wisdom. Shariputra, therefore, because there is no attainment, bodhisattvas rely on professional wisdom, the mind without obscuration and thus without fear. Having completely passed beyond error, they reach the end point of nirvana. All the Buddhas who dwell in the three times also manifestly perfect, complete enlightenment in reliance on the perfection of wisdom. Therefore, the Mother of the great knowledge, the unsurpassed mantra, the mantra equal to the unequaled, mantra that thoroughly pacifies all suffering, should be known as truth, sin is not false. The mantra of the perfection wisdom is declared, Yatha Gade Gade Bara Samgade Bodhi Swaha. Shariputra, the Bodhisattva, Mahasattva should train in the profound professional wisdom like that. Then the Buddha arose from that concentration and commanded the Bodhisattva, Mahasattva, Aravalokiteshvara, saying, well said, son of the lineage, it is like that, it is like that. One should practice the profound professional wisdom just as you indicated. Even the Tathagatas rejoiced. The Buddha having thus spoken, the Venerable Sharitvatiputra, the Bodhisattva, Mahasattva, Aravalokiteshvara, who surrounded the entirety along with the world of gods, humans, as well as Gandharvas, were overjoyed and highly praised that spoken by the Buddha. Okay, as we recite the Sahasra mantra, just imagine that we are all in on the Vulture's Peak, where the Buddha Shakyamuni, His Holiness the Dalai Lama, Aravalokiteshvara, the Arhat Shariputra, and all the monks, nuns, bodhisattvas, lay devotees, they're all there. And imagine that you, your two parents, your children, all the dear Matsanghamid just right there in front of the Buddhas and bodhisattvas there. And imagine that Buddha Shakyamuni is exhorting us thus, don't remain in fears of samsara, come towards ultimate happiness by awakening your Buddha nature. And you hearing what our compassionate teacher Buddha Shakyamuni is exhorting, you then inform this to your two parents, to your children, all dear Mother Shinshimiks leaving that aside. This is what a compassionate teacher Buddha Shakyamuni is exhorting us. Let us not remain in fears of samsara anymore. Let us all go together towards ultimate happiness, fearlessness, by awakening the seed of Buddha nature within us. So with this, everyone is so happy to hear what you're saying, and they're so happy to join you in this journey of undertaking the journey of eliminating all mental defilements by the sword of the wisdom, supported by the Bodhicitta, on the basis of the renunciation. With this mind, this is sometimes Deata Om Gade Gade Paragate Parasamgate Bodhi Swaha Deata Om Gade Gade Paragate Parasamgate Bodhi Swaha Dhyata Om Gate Gate Paragate Samgate Bodhiswatyata Parasamgate Bodhiswatyata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhiswatyata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhiswaha. By the teachings of three supreme jewels possessing power of truth, may inner and outer hindrance be transformed, may they be dispelled, may they be non-existent, may they be pacified, may all negative forces opposed to the Dharma be completely pacified, may we be separated from problems and conditions harmful to the Dharma, may all enjoyments be in accord with the Dharma, may auspicious and perfect happiness pervade this place now. 8 verse mind training to subdue our ego and anger and boost our self-confidence. 8 verses for training the mind by Geshe. With the determination to achieve the highest aim for the benefit of all sentient beings, which surpasses even the wish-fulfilling gem, may I hold them dear at all times. Whenever I interact with someone, may I view myself as the lowest amongst all, and from the very depths of my heart, respectfully hold others as superior. In all my deeds, may I probe into my mind, and as soon as mental and emotional afflictions arise, as I endanger myself and others, may I strongly confront them and avert them. When I see beings of unpleasant character, and those oppressed by strong negativity and suffering, may I hold them dear, for they are a red rock find as if I have discovered a jewel treasure. And may I take upon oneself the defeat and offer to others the victory. When someone whom I have held or in whom I place great hopes mistreats me in extremely hurtful ways, may I regard him still as my precious teacher. In brief, may I offer benefit and joy to all my mothers, both directly and indirectly. May I quietly take upon myself all hurts and pains of my mothers. May all of this remain undefiled by the stains of the 8 mundane concerns, and may I recognizing all things as illusions, from my true collections, vast the space that I've amassed from working with effort in this practice for a great length of time, may I become the chief leading Buddha for all those whose minds wisdom is blinded by ignorance. 7 in practice, except from the King of Prayers, the extraordinary inspiration of the practice of Samadhi. I bow down to the youthful Arya Manjushri, you the Buddhas, the lions amongst humans, gone to freedom in the present, past, and future, in the worlds of 10 directions. To all of you with the body's patient, sincere mind, I bow down, with an unusual aspiration for the Bodhisattva way, with a sense of deep respect, and with as many bodies as happens in the world. To all you Buddhas visualized as real, I bow down. On every atom of Buddhas, numberless as particles. Each of me is a host of Bodhisattvas, and I'm confident the sphere of all phenomena is entirely filled with Buddhas in this way. With infinite oceans of praise for you, and oceans of sound from the aspect of my voice, I sing the breathtaking excellence in Buddhas and celebrate all of you Sugathas. Beautiful flowers and regal garlands, sweet music, scented walls and parasols, sparkling light and sublime incense, offer to you victorious ones of Buddhas. Fine dress and fragrant perfumes, scented with powder heaped high as Mount Meru, all wondrous offerings in spectacular array offered to you victorious ones. Peerless and vast, with profound admiration for all the Buddhas, with strength of conviction in the Bodhisattva way, offer and bow down to all the victorious ones. Every harmful action I've done with body, all these are openly laid bare before you. I lift my heart and rejoice in all the merit of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas in 10 directions. of solitary realizers here still training and those beyond, and for ordinary beings. You who are the bright lights of the world's internal directions, who have attained the Buddha's omniscience through the stages of awakening. All you are my guides, please turn the supreme wheel of Dharma. With palms together, I earnestly request you who may actualize parinirvana, please stay with us for eons, numberless as atoms of the world, for the happiness and well-being of all wanderers in samsara. Whatever slight merit I may have accumulated by making prostrations, offering and confessing, rejoicing and requesting that the Buddha stay in cage, and now dedicate all this for the full awakening of all beings. Okay, metal offering. This ground, anointed with perfume, strewn with flowers, adorned with Mount Meru, the four continents, the sun and the moon. I imagine this is a Buddha felt and offer it. May all sentient beings enjoy the pure land. O Sajibya May I be blessed that my mind is directed towards the Dharma. With ignorance that grasps at true existence, please bless my general renunciation, seeing all aspects of samsara as viciously repulsive. Please bless me that my mind overflows with the precious bodhicitta that cherishes others more than myself. Please bless me to have an immaculate experience of the wisdom of emptiness that does not see even an atom of intrinsic reality on the basis of understanding how things come into being by dependent origination through mere conditioning. Please bless me that Idam Guru Rana Mendela Nirati. The foundation of all good qualities by Lama Tsongkhapa. The foundation of all good qualities is the kind and the perfect pure Guru. Correct devotion to him is the root of the path. By clearly seeing this and applying great effort, please bless me to rely upon him with great respect. Understanding that the precious freedom of this rebirth is found only once, is greatly meaningful and is difficult to find again. Please bless me to gender the mind that unceasingly day and night takes its essence. This life is as impermanent as a water bubble. Remember how quickly it decays and death comes. After that, just like a shadow follows the body, the results of virtues and non-virtues come and follow. Finding firm and convict and accomplish all virtuous deeds. Samsaric splendors are unsatisfying and unreliable, seeking them to the door to all suffering. Recognizing these shortcomings, please bless me to generate a strong wish for the bliss of liberation. Led by the spirit of thought, mindfulness, alertness, and great cushion arise. The root of this teaching of keeping the Pratimoksha vows, please bless me to accomplish this essential practice. Just as I have fallen into the sea of samsara, so fall mother my greater beings. Please bless me to see this, train in supreme bodhicitta, and bear the responsibility of freeing my greater beings. Even if I have developed bodhicitta, but I don't practice the three types of morality, I'll not achieve enlightenment. With my clear recognition of this, please bless me to practice the bodhisattva vows with great energy. Once I pacify distraction to wrong objects and correctly analyze the meaning of reality, please bless me to generate quickly within my mind stream a unified path of karma abiding especially inside. Having become a pure vessel by training the general path, please bless me to enter the holy gateway of the fortunate ones, a supreme Vajra vehicle. At that time, the basis of accomplishing the two attainments is keeping pure vows in Samaya. As I become firmly convinced of this, please bless me to protect these vows and pledges like my life. Then, having realized the importance of the two stages, as in Vajrayana, by practicing with great energy, never giving up the 4 sessions, please bless me to realize the teachings of the Holy Guru. Like that, may the Gurus who showed the noble path and his spiritual friends who practiced long lives, please bless me to pacify completely all outer and inner hindrances. In all my lives, never separated from perfect Gurus, enjoy the magnificent Dharma by completing the qualities of the stages of the paths and could attain the state of Vajradhara. Next mantra. You are Avalokiteshvara, great treasure of non-referential compassion, and Manjushri, master of flawless wisdom, as well as Vajrapani, destroyed hosts of demons without exception. Sanghabaj, crown jewel of the sages of the level stones, Losantaba at your feet and make prostrations. Avalokiteshvara, great treasure of non-referential compassion, and Manjushri, master of flawless wisdom, as well as Vajrapani, destroyed hosts of demons without exception. Sanghabha, crown jewel of the sages, land of snows, Vasantaba at your feet and make prostrations. Okay, general Mara Consummate Yoga, Tamjin Nejuk Simkyepa to folk practices. Our first single point of meditation, 5 minutes. Okay, this being the last year for this retreat, Bodhicitta retreat series 17. The first one was done in Bodhicitta ashram, and close to Bangalore. In one Hindu ashram, we did that. The first in series. This is, I think, the 17th. Okay, so we should be, and I'm sure that many of you will do this single point of meditation, be it going Geshe meditation, Vipassana meditation, or any meditation. For this, what is important is point number 3 and 4. Point number 3, identify the areas of meditation. Extremely important, and failing to do that, you can end up in building a very bad habit. And this habit, not only it will harm you in this life, can also harm you in the future lives. So we should be very careful with point number 3, identify the 2 areas. And then how to avert them is by applying the number 4, the remedies, introspective mindfulness. Okay, 5 minutes ready. Okay. Okay, we'll gradually move to the renunciation on the basis of the 4 seals. Ready? Okay. Renunciation. Renunciation is to renounce your miseries, all the miseries. And to remove the miseries, we need to know how to renounce the causes of miseries. Ye dharma hedu prabhava, hetum desham tathagato hyavatat. And the cause of miseries, the Buddha identified several causes: contaminant karmas, afflictions, inappropriate attention, self-grasping ignorance. Finally, the Buddha identified the ignorance as responsible for all these miseries. And precisely, the Buddha indicated 4 levels of ignorance, and the root of which is the self-grasping ignorance, viewing things as objective real. To encounter these 4 levels of ignorance, the Buddha taught the 4 seals. The first, all composite things impermanent. And this impermanence is of 3 kinds. The 2 kinds, the gross and the subtle. It's so important to begin with the meditation on the gross impermanence. How the beautiful things that we experience in our life, the merriments, the festivities, the birthday parties, and the family gatherings and so forth, they're all impermanent. They come and go. And the beautiful moments in your life, your youth, the wealth, they come, they go. And even the life comes and goes. And the people 200 years ago in the past, there were people who are of your age, older than you, younger than you. Where are they now? They're all gone. And they have their own respective aspirations, careers, goals, objectives, and so forth. What happened? Whether they accomplished or not accomplished, they're all gone. Everyone is gone. 200 years down the line in the future, for us, the 8 billion human beings today, not even a single person will be left then, that's for sure. We talk about the great saints who live for 200 years, 300 years, 400 years. But in reality, the people who we know, guaranteed nobody will be alive then. Whether your dreams, whether your ambitions, objectives, careers, plans, that accomplished, not accomplished, all will be gone then. And people fight over things that this is what I like to do, and there's constant conflicts for it's happening. Whether you accomplished what you have in the mind or not, everybody will leave this world. The perpetrators, the victims, and everyone have to leave. And that's the impermanence. And this impermanence is possible only if there's a change happening on the yearly basis, monthly basis, weekly basis, daily basis, hourly basis, minute by minute basis, second by second basis, millisecond by millisecond basis, nanosecond by nanosecond basis. Without the subtle changes, the grosser changes are not possible. And yet, that all these composite phenomena, which is subsumed under the gross impermanence, all should do not only the gross impermanence, even any impermanent phenomena should necessarily be characterized by the subtle impermanence, the momentariness, the change that you see on the millisecond level, nanosecond level. Yes. So from this realization, we come to know that all composite phenomena, they move at such a fast pace. They move so fast on the level of the second, millisecond, nanosecond level, so fast. Quite scary though to discover this reality. Imagine that you are thrown in a very fast moving train by a stranger at the train platform. What do you feel? So much fear. The faster the train moves, more the fear. Because we don't know where this train is taking us. Likewise, our bodies move so fast, our minds move so fast. And everything that we interact with, all composite phenomena that we interact with, they move so fast. Whole world, whole universe is moving so fast. There's nothing really there which moves slow or which is static. It's very scary. Where is this impermanence taking me? It's all determined by the driver. And in that case, the driver is the mind, but the mind is under the sway of the demons, two demons of grasping, ignorance, self-centered attitude. As long as our minds are determined, they're dictated by these two demons, the worst of contaminations, the self-grasping ignorance, giving rise to all the gross afflictions, inappropriate attention, gross afflictions, contamination, and so forth. We will never be happy. This is what the Buddha indicated, that all contaminated things are from nature. As long as we are in the dream, we create the dream and we fall prey to this dream, the dream will dictate us. We have no choice what dream to choose. The loss of freedom. Loss of freedom is misery. Misery is samsara. What kind of suffering? Sickness, aging, death, tension, depression, anxiety, anguish. Everybody has a sad story to share. As the stories share, tears fall off. This suffering. Everybody has this suffering. And we are all like small children. The moment we have a chocolate, we forget all these miseries. And yet, more miseries await us after this chocolate. This is the reality. And one moment of such a pain is good enough to nullify all the past experiences of the pain, the happiness, the merriments, the parties, the celebrations, festivities. All turn out to be so shallow, hollow, gloomy, meaningless. Yes, that's very true. And the tears that we shed since time immemorial because of all these pains, if were to be measured, would far be more than the whole world filled with the oceans. This is what the Buddha indicated. This is what Buddha discovered. That's very true, I understand that. But how to bring an end to these? When will these come to an end? 2020 came to an end on its own. 2021 came to an end on its own. When will this come to an end? It will never come to an end unless until we preferred. Impermanent phenomena is of three kinds. One, which invariably, whose continuum invariably comes to an end. The second class, who is in the continuum will never come to an end, like the time, our mind, and so forth. And a third category, only we put the concerted effort will bring to an end of this. Otherwise not. Like what? Our miseries, our self-grasping ignorance, our afflictions, our contaminations, samsara. If we put proper effort, we can bring an end to these. Without the proper effort, they'll never come to an end on its own. Okay, yes, what kind of effort required? Yedharma hetu prabhava. The Buddha taught the Four Noble Truths. The truth of suffering, he did not leave it there. He said the truth of the cause of suffering. The truth of the cause of suffering must be exterminated. What if we can exterminate the cause of suffering? Then the third truth of the freedom from all the miseries will happen. Wow, that's amazing. How to get there? The fourth truth, the truth of the path leading to this, the freedom. What is this path? The path of the wisdom of emptiness. What is this wisdom of emptiness? The wisdom is a discerner mind whose apprehension of the object tallies with reality. What's the reality? The reality is what the Buddha indicated as the third seal. Everything is nature, emptiness, selflessness. Okay, today let us meditate on emptiness of the self, yourself. What are you doing? I'm meditating. What is your body doing? My body is in meditative posture. Okay, how does this person who you identify as a self appears to you? Objective real or like a dream that your mind is creating it? Not at all like a dream. It's so objectified there, so solidified there. This belief is the self-grasping ignorance, and this is what creates. This is the meaning of the projection of the dream, of samsaric dreams. As long as you believe this to be true, the dream will continue to torture you. You have no freedom. You have no choice to which dream to choose. Lack of freedom, that is misery. Misery is samsara. Okay, how does bring an end to this? If the self would exist the way the self-grasping ignorance views, believes it to be like, remember what Aranagarjuna said. If the mirage were to be water, one of those close by the mirage see water. In a similar token of reasoning, if the self would exist objectively, as seen by the self-grasping ignorance, why don't I see the self as I go closer to its object? Okay, now let us go closer to its object. The mind which goes closer to the object is known as the ultimate analysis. Let us subject this self to ultimate analysis by going closer towards this object. And whatever is not this objective self, let us just ignore them. Because we are interested to look for this objective self. Subjecting this self to ultimate analysis, we see that there's a very thin layer of the skin. Of course, there's not this self. Behind that, the fatty tissues. Behind that, the cartilages, the muscles. Alongside, the whole skeleton is there. The heart, the lungs, the liver, pancreas, the stomach, the intestine, the gallbladder. None of these solid parts constitute the self, and these solid parts are the element of earth. In other words, none of the element of earth is the self. None of the element of earth is to be identified as intrinsically from the object to be identified as the self. Okay. What next? Element of fire. Okay, element of the element of water. 4 liters of blood, which is pumped in and out by the heart to different parts of the body. Of course, that is not me. Element of fire. 2,500 joules of energy. Of course, that is not me. Element of air, 4.6 liters of air that will be breathed out through our lungs. Of course, that is not me. Element of space, 99.99% of the body's space. Of course, that is not me. I'm a sort of person, the space vacuum in nature is not me. What is left now? Element of consciousness or the mind. I'm a male, I'm a female. My mind doesn't have a gender. The gender is positive on the basis of the body. So therefore, this mind is also not me. And also that people can see me, but cannot see my mind. So even this element of the consciousness, element of mind is also not me. Keep that aside. Okay, now what are you seeing now? I'm just seeing the 6 elements. Which of the 6 elements to be identified as intrinsically as one with the self? None of the 6 elements. Okay. Now let's see if this self exists as intrinsically different from the 6 elements. Remove the 6 elements, what do you see? Nothing is left as a self. Okay, given that the 2 possibilities, both are possibilities for the self to exist subjectively, they're ruled out. Now what do you see? Of course, if these 2 possibilities are ruled out, that there's no way by which the self can exist subjectively. Okay, where is the self now from the object side? Given that we have come too close to the object under the ultimate analysis, where is the self? Nowhere to be seen. The self simply dissolves into the emptiness. This is what you're discovering. You're not inventing. And this reality has been the truth since time immemorial. The only thing is that we feel we are being obscured from having the vision of this reality due to this ignorance. Okay, for the first time, I discovered this. I'm disillusioned by this self-grasp ignorance. Okay, that's amazing, very profound experience. But what's the benefit of this meditation? Yes, just as the self is discovered to be empty from the object side, if we subject all the miseries that we go through to this ultimate analysis, just as the self dissolves into emptiness, all the miseries, all the sorrows will also dissolve in this experience of emptiness. Wow, that's amazing. All the sorrow dissolves, all sorrows transcended. The moment the sorrows, the mental disturbance transcends, the peace simply restores. Peace dawns in me. This is extremely reliable peace, absolute peace. This is what the Buddha indicated as the fourth seal. Transcending sorrow is absolute peace. Stay in this experience for a while. Experience of emptiness where all your sorrows are transcended. Okay, now generate this very strong wish. May I experience this emptiness where all my sorrows are transcended. This aspiration is known as the most refined version of renunciation. Since experience of renunciation for a while, you're very fortunate. We're all very fortunate. This is the gateway entrance to renounce all your miseries, to experience the total fearlessness, freedom, liberation from all misery. So precious. Okay, let's take a few seconds gap before we go to the Bodhicitta practice. Okay, for the Bodhicitta, given that there are 2 methods, when you're by yourself or when you're on your own, I would suggest that for the Bodhicitta, you can practice one of the 2 methods, and we should be very realistic. When you employ these 2 methods, it's going to be very exhausting, very tiring. And you can feel that your mind is tired. And sometimes we may not feel that because we are being carried away by the feeling of excitement, feeling of joy, sense of accomplishment of having practiced Bodhicitta. But your mind is very tired. How do you know that? Next time, to think of doing the practice of Bodhicitta, you just feel like delaying it. Okay, I'll do a little later, but which means that earlier you felt tired. So practice being, don't be overly enthusiastic, don't be overly ambitious that I want to practice Bodhicitta, both the methods together, and then the Bodhicitta. So first renunciation, 4 seals, I will practice it for 1 month, then renunciation. And then bodhicitta may take me a little longer. So 2 months bodhicitta, then all bodhicitta. The visual emptiness, he said, study more. So maybe 5, 6 months. 6 months visual emptiness. Wow, then gati, first gati, second gati. Then practice more, the same thing. Then paragati, in next second year, paragati. Then the parasangati, the third year. And bodhisattva, oh, in 3 years, bodhisattva, right? Okay, I'll leave everything. I'll practice bodhicitta, I'll do the practice wholeheartedly. And then before even the gade, maybe even in like 2-3 weeks time, if you sustain 1 month, you'll quit everything. Okay, finally we've employed this mind, which is extremely addicted to going down the lane, down the hill towards the negativities. So difficult to go towards uphill the virtues. This mind we're employing. So therefore, this mind which is never used to do virtues so happily and so addicted doing the negativities so happily, how can we imagine that this mind can become enlightened very fast, very soon? Your calculation is wrong. Time factor, the nature of the mind, the advantageous nature of the mind, which is very different from the virtues that we are trying to cultivate. So it's a wrong calculation. We should not be too ambitious. It is like thinking of giving a design to the glass. How to give the design? You make it hard and then twist it the way you, depending on what design you need. You twist it so fast, what will happen? It'll break. Design will not come, it'll break. So, thinking of becoming Buddha in 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, I'll leave everything. I give up my job. And I'll not stay in the monastery, I'll go to Himalaya, right? And in most likely 2 weeks, you'll not even sustain 1 month. 2 weeks, you quit everything. And you lose your job, you lose your Himalaya, you lose everything, right? So we should be very realistic, including the Bodhicitta practice. Don't think of doing everything together. The great masters, solitary traders, great masters, they said that if you're so impatient to practice everything together, this is an indication that you're going to quit. So let us be careful. So Bodhicitta practice, so initially focus on consistency, don't focus on the rigor. Initially focus on the consistency. Let the consistency be built, that over time, after 1 month, after 4 months, after 6 months, after a year, 2 years, that you should feel like doing your practice should become like you're having a breakfast. No, like hardship. Whereas earlier, it is like carrying a load. Carrying a load, the first few months, 6 months, 8 months, 9 months, you feel as though like you're carrying load. Load means that you feel like leaving it any time. Now, after a year or so, it becomes easy, like having breakfast. So, how many of you have breakfast every day, except for some days? Every day, and you never feel tired, right? So this should happen. Your practice should become like having breakfast. When that happens, then focus on the rigor. Okay, then your practice will prove to be very meaningful. Otherwise, you can end up into burnout, you can end up into quitting, you can end up into what is known as, in Tibetan we call it lung, depression problem, anxiety problem. And it's very strange. The Tibetan word lung, this is way more comprehensive than what in the Western language, depression, anxiety is way more comprehensive than that. There is so many varieties there. At the moment you started practicing, instantly this some kind of energy moves within the body, which makes you so uncomfortable, uneasy, and like a pain, mental extreme unease can come, and it simply makes you stop the practice. It's very dangerous. We should start small. Start small. Don't start big. Don't be too ambitious. Start small. Be consistent. If you can maintain a consistency for minimum like 1 year, 2 years, it is mark of great success. And meanwhile, being good Sangha members, meaning that be with good friends, be like-minded in the spirituality, who don't really pull you down, who are there to support you, who appreciate what you're doing. There's the mutuality of appreciation, support that's required. Where somebody putting you down is not good. So stay a little away from those people who are trying to pull you down. So that's not your Sangha member. Sangha means somebody who supports you in your spiritual path. Okay, that's very important. So with this, the Bodhicitta, and simply because some people, they do everything together, it doesn't mean that you can do it, right? You should know yourself. If you practice according to your own capacity, over time you can do everything together. Some masters, just within a few seconds, they practice Bodhicitta, wisdom of emptiness, the forces, everything, right? They're so effectively within a few seconds. And if you study this text, now the master's course, so there you see that the text Abhisamanankara written by Maitreya, where he describes the potential of the bodhisattvas on a high level, where within a split of a second, one meditates on 173 topics without altering the sequence. You're getting it? This is what they succeed through, only through practice. So initially, we should focus on consistency, small, and be consistent. Don't think that, okay, these people, they can do 173 topics, that do very sophisticated topics like emptiness and so forth, without altering the sequence. Within a split of a second, like so fast, like the movie quoted, like this, so effectively. They can do, why not I? If this is your attitude, you will break. So you can, not now. You have to start somewhere. Small, consistent. And eventually, you will succeed. Okay. So the first proof is that, prove that you can do it, you can be consistent for 1 year and 2 years. If you can prove that, then come to me. Then I'll tell you what to do next. Okay. So for the Bodhicitta, when you're on your own, I would suggest that initially don't be too ambitious and do one of the two methods. Alternate between the two methods. Today, if you do the sevenfold course of the method, the next day you do the equalizing exchanging method. Don't do both together. It'll make you tired. You may not know that you're tired, and then gradually, slowly, you will look for excuses. Okay, to have this, to have that to do, to have to go for shopping, to have to go to hospital, to have to go for this, that, or somebody, there's an urgency, there's an urgent thing coming up, I have to go there. These looking for excuses, and somebody say, can you please come, we have the family gathering, we have a friends gathering, and you may tell them that I have a Bodhicitta practice to do, rather than compromising Bodhicitta because I have the friends meeting to attend to. You're getting it? Which you have to choose. When you choose the friends meeting, Bodhicitta, I'll do tomorrow, which means you have already felt tired. So whereas the great practitioners, they advise us that when you do the practice, leave the practice when you are at the height of the joy of the practice. At the height of the joy. You want to continue? No. So I said just 5 minutes, 5 minutes. 10 minutes, 10 minutes. Okay, now I like to continue. It's so good. Yes, it's good. Leave there. Whatever you have, the time allocated, leave it there. And then the next day, You look forward to this practice. And if you do everything today, I'm so happy, I just continue doing this, I did it for 2 hours, 3 hours, and the next day, that's the same time for practice. Okay. So deep inside there's a tiredness there. The memory of the tiredness is coming in you. And you feel like, okay, I have a laundry to do, I'll do it after laundry. Your laundry finished? Okay, now it's already time for my tea. I'll do it after tea. And at tea, I feel a little tired now. Then I'll do it after that. Then it's time for lunch. And this is how you gradually skip. You quit. Okay. So when you're alone, do these 2 methods. And to be very honest, again, ideally speaking, you have to maintain all these things confidential what you're doing. Don't just publicize saying that I'm doing this, I'm doing Bodhicitta, the Bodhicitta practice, Bodhicitta teaching on the and Thosamling is amazing. I've been doing this since every day. But to your teacher, to your very trusted, like-minded Dharma spiritual friends, you can share what you're doing. But for other people, keep it very confidential what you're doing. You can encourage others to do these things, but you don't have to tell them that this is what I'm doing, right? Okay. So with this in mind, what I'm saying is that when you own your own, you do these 2 methods. The alternate between these 2 methods. And today you can do one, the other day, the next day you can do the other. Okay, in group, this is a little difficult. In group, either, okay, to make it quick, in group, because we need to put one of everything in time. So we have only about 10 minutes now. So we'll do the first 2 immeasurables and then end with the Bodhicitta commitment. Ready? Immeasurable loving kindness. For this, let us reinforce all Bodhisattvas so loving, caring, and embracing in front of you. And your 2 parents and all family members, including children, and all dear mothers and beings around you, where you are so loving, caring, and embracing to each of one of them. Immeasurable loving kindness. How good would it be that all my dear mothers and beings are endowed with happiness and the causes of happiness. The causes of happiness primarily consisting of the wisdom of emptiness, the most fearless mind, and the Bodhicitta, the most beautiful mind in this universe. May all my dear mothers and beings have happiness and the cause of happiness. I'll take the responsibility that all my dear mothers and beings are endowed with happiness and the cause of happiness. The Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, witnessing that we make such a courageous commitment, the intense happiness proud of you, this pride and happiness invoke their compassionate omniscient minds to send for nectar of which soothing lights to assume all ultimate sentient beings. The mere touch of less nectars with the body speaks yours instills in all happiness and the cause of happiness in the minds of you and all ultimate sentient beings. And you witnessing such a miracle acceptance with all the different sentient beings, you're intensely happy. Take 3 deep breaths, sigh with relief. Immeasurable compassion. How good would it be that all my different sentient beings are freed from suffering and the causes of suffering. The cause of suffering primarily consists of self-grasping ignorance and self-centered attitude, and the respective offshoots, inappropriate attention, all the gross afflictions and the contaminant karmas. May all my dear sentient beings be freed from suffering and the cause of suffering. I'll take the responsibility that all my Timid sentient beings are freed from suffering and the causes of suffering. The Buddhas and Bodhisattvas witnessing that you are making such a courageous commitment, you're intensely happy and proud that they are so proud and happy of what you're doing. And this pride and happiness invoke their compassion omniscient minds to send for nectar and truthfulness towards you and all Timid sentient beings. Their mere touch the lesson nectars with the bodies makes you yours, washes away all the miseries and causes of miseries from you and from all Timid sentient beings. And you witnessing such a miraculous suffering towards all Timid sentient beings, you are intensely happy. Take 3 deep breaths, sign with relief. Underscoring all the 4 mesh balls is unconditional love towards all Timid sentient beings. Abide in this experience of unconditional love towards all beings. With this unconditional love, tempering this commitment, with folded hands, let us make a Bodhicitta commitment 3 times together. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear mother sentient beings. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear mother sentient beings. May I become Buddha for the benefit of all my dear mother sentient beings. Stay in this most beautiful mind of the Bodhicitta and slowly transform this beautiful mind of Bodhicitta into a spotless, clean moon disk, horizontally sitting with the heart. Okay, that's amazing that you made such a courageous commitment. But how can I actually become Buddha? Yes, but remove all the mental dust. The seed of Buddhahood is within me. But how can you do that? How can you remove the mental dust, all the mental defilements? But it's onto a very powerful remedy. What remedy? The wisdom of emptiness. Okay, what is this wisdom of emptiness? Let's quickly read through the experience of emptiness which we did before, as the 3rd seal is a part of the 4 seals. What are you doing? I'm meditating. And how does this person, you who you identified as I or the self, appear to exist? As object real or like a dream? Of course, the object real. This belief is self-grasping ignorance. And all this ignorance and all these stains referred as a kind of obscurations, they all come from this. Okay. If the self would exist the way it appears to you as so object real, remember what Nagarjuna said, if the mirage would be water, one of those close by the mirage see water. Likewise, if the self would exist objectively, why don't I see the self as I go close to the object? Now let us go close to the object by subjecting self to ultimate analysis. Subjecting self to ultimate analysis, we see that it's just made of the 6 elements. The self is nothing but a concept of 6 elements. Imagine that you are seeing the 6 elements: earth, water, fire, air, space, and consciousness. Okay. Now you've come too close towards the object. Where's the self? Objective existence self. Nowhere to be seen. Not to be seen as one with, intrinsically one with these 6 elements. Nor to be seen as intrinsically different from these 6 elements. None of these two possibilities are true. Both possibilities are ruled out. Whereas the self from the object, there's nowhere to be identified as a self. Stay in this experience for a while. And particularly this experience of non-affirming negative. Absolute non-affirming negative. Okay, slowly transform this experience of the non-affirming negative, the emptiness of objective existence, into a spotless, clean, thumb-sized white vajra, vertically shooting on the moon disk of the heart. It's amazing now. You have the moon, symbolic of the compassion bodhicitta to exterminate all the self-centered attitude, and the vajra symbolic of the ultimate bodhicitta, the non-dual wisdom of the Arya Bodhisattvas, to exterminate all the mental defilements, both afflictive and cognitive obscurations. They're amazing. Remember your two parents, all the family members, your children, all demonstration means that they're suffering terribly. This intense compassion that we feel, invoke the Vajramuni in your heart to multiply infinite number of times. With great compassion, share this Vajramon. One set with your mother at her heart, one set with your father at his heart, one set with each one of family members, including your children, one with each of the beings, sentient beings here in Thosamling, the human beings, the animals, insects, hungry ghosts, God and goddesses, spirits, one with each of the beings in your own country, in the whole world, in the Milky Way galaxy, in the entire universe. Everyone in the ocean, how many billions and trillions of creatures are there in the ocean? How many billions and trillions of creatures are there in the forests, in the wilderness? The insects, the worms, the wild animals. Now everyone has to share the Vajramon. That's amazing. Also, let's not forget that all Buddhist Bodhisattvas there watching us. Yes, that's very true. Why not we invite all the Buddhist Bodhisattvas, so loving and caring, who are so loving and caring, to be the witness and the guest to undertaking the ceremony of taking the auspicious Bodhisattva vow. As a gesture of making this request, along with all the other sentient beings, let us slowly start up to make 3 prostrations to all the Buddhist Bodhisattvas. Okay, see if you can sit on your right knees. Page 50. Okay, visualize that all the Buddhist Bodhisattvas, they're watching us now with so much love, affection, care, and attention. The way in which, when you as a young little child, age 5, you as a young little the boy as age 5 or girl age 5, for the first time in your life, making a public appearance on behalf of the school, and your parents feel so proud of you, and they left everything behind, or otherwise what they have to do that day. They come to join the audience, waving their hands to you, telling you that we are here, we are so proud of you. And this is exactly what all the Buddhist Bodhisattvas are feeling today. They're so happy. And as you requested, they take it as a great important thing to come as a witness, as a guest to you. What are you doing today? Undertaking the ceremony of taking the auspicious Bodhisattva vows. You, as a very thoughtful, responsible little girl or a little boy, bring with you all the siblings to this ceremony of taking the auspicious Bodhisattva vow. And the all sentient beings, this is exactly what all sentient beings are, that you inspire them to come to join you in taking this auspicious Bodhisattva vow. And the first verse, given that this is a journey of enlightenment, which is the most important journey that it possibly exists in this whole universe, it requires a great support. And greatest support is the Buddha, the Triple Gem. The first line says, I go for refuge in the Triple Gem. And given that this journey should be very smooth, for this the road should not be blocked by the trees, boulders, landslides, and so forth. You have to clear the road. The road is not other than your own mind. This mind must be freed of all the mental defilements to the best you can. So to do it more effectively, this is the second line which says, I confess the negativities individually. Now the road is very clear, but if the cart is not the fuel, again you cannot undertake the journey. This cart must have enough fuel, and this cart is none other than your own mind. This mind should have the enough fuel of the virtues and the merits. And the best way by which to do so very effectively is by rejoicing the virtues of all the beings. The third line says, I rejoice in the virtues of all the beings. Okay, now the road is clear. The car is enough fuel. What kind of journey are you going to undertake? I'm going to undertake the journey of the enlightenment. So the fourth line says, I hold the precious Buddha in my heart. So with this mind, imagine that you are leading this ceremony, and all demonstrations by joining you, witnessed by all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. I go for refuge to the triple gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddha in my heart. I go for refuge to the triple gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddha in my heart. I go for refuge to the triple gem. I confess the negativities individually. I rejoice the virtues of all the beings. I hold the precious Buddha in my heart. Okay, the next two verses, invoking Gurus, Buddhas, Bodhisattvas to be here to you. The first verse says that how that Buddha Shakyamuni and all the Buddhas of the past, how they succeeded in this feat of the benefiting all the demonstration beings. How did they succeed in this? They succeed in this for two factors, for two reasons. Initially, they generate very strong motivation of the Bodhicitta to become Buddha for the benefit of sentient beings. And the second reason, to materialize this aspiration of Bodhicitta, they actually engage in the Bodhisattva practices. So if this is how they succeeded, I will follow the footsteps. I will also generate a very strong Bodhicitta as a motivation. And to materialize this aspiration of Bodhicitta, I will also engage in the Bodhisattva practices, such as the 6 perfections and the 4 perfections, making 10. Okay, let's say this together. And then during the third repetition, imagine that you receive this Bodhisattva vow and feel a great joy. And indeed, this is something to be celebrated with immense joy. Gurus, Buddhas, and Bodhisattvas, please be here to me. Just as previous Buddhas have generated the mind of Bodhicitta, and just as they successfully dwell the Bodhisattva practices, likewise for the benefit of all sentient beings, I will generate the mind of Bodhicitta, and likewise shall I be successful for the Bodhisattva practices. Gurus, Buddhas, and Bodhisattvas, just as previous Buddhas have generated the mind of Bodhicitta, and just as they successfully Bodhisattva practices, likewise for the benefit of all sentient beings, I will generate the mind of Bodhicitta, and likewise shall I too successfully train in the Bodhisattva practices. Gurus, Buddhas, and Bodhisattvas, please pay heed to me. Just as previous Buddhas have generated the mind of Bodhicitta, and just as they successfully dwell in the Bodhisattva practices, I'll generate the mind of Bodhicitta, and likewise shall I too successfully follow the Bodhisattva practices. Okay, just feel the immense joy over having received this Bodhisattva vow. And the Buddhist Bodhisattvas, they are so proud of you. Like the mother, after all these many years of receiving complaints from the school, today the school principal comes to me, the mother. Again, the mother was very apprehensive. What kind of complaints? And this time the school principal said, no, we came here to congratulate you. Your little daughter, your little son, both of them appointed as the best of the students of this school for this year. The mother could not believe her eyes and ears after all the many years of receiving complaints about the boy and the girl. Today, she's getting such a compliment from the school's principal. She's so happy. This is exactly what has happened to all Buddhist Bodhisattvas, and all these many lifetimes. While the Buddhist Bodhisattvas, they all want us to be happy, to engage in virtues, to be happy. But we, on the contrary, we did only the wrong things, the negativities that we suffer. The Buddhist Bodhisattvas have been so demoralized, sad, of all these many lifetimes. And today you did something so good, they feel so proud. And this pride and happiness that they feel today, invoke the Vajramuni in their hearts to multiply infinite number of times. And these replicas, infinite the number of the replicas of the Vajramoon from the Buddha, house of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, they descend to merge with that you visualize at the heart, thereby becoming non-dual, stabilized and blessed. Likewise, these replicas, infinite number of these replicas, they descend to merge with that one that you visualize at the heart of your mother, at the heart of father, at the heart of each one of our members, including children, each of the sentient beings here in Thosamling, each of the beings in their own country, the world, in the Milky Way galaxy, and in the entire universe. Now, everyone, the Vajramoon which you shared with them, they're being blessed by the Vajramoons from all the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas. That's amazing. This is the greatest gift that you can possibly think of giving to all the sentient beings. And today you gifted them with this gift. And of all the offerings, the Buddha said the one moment of generating compassion is far what excels offering far excels offering of the whole universe filled with gems to all Buddhas, Bodhisattvas. If this were the case, what I mentioned of our having taken the aspect of Bodhisattva vow, the heightened state of the compassion. And today, you made this offering to all Buddhas, Bodhisattvas. And of our life, we said that this is the greatest meaning. And today, you've extracted the greatest of the meaning of your life. And this all happens because of the kindness and blessings of all the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas. As a gesture of thanking them, let us, along with all the other sentient beings, stand up and make 3 prostrations to all Buddhas, Bodhisattvas. Okay, please take your seats. At page 51. So this wonderful practice of the Bodhicitta and the wisdom of emptiness to unravel a hidden treasure of Buddha nature. How to make sure that we meet with this same teaching practice in the next lives by including that in the form of very powerful practice. Number 1, once you're connected with this teaching in the future lifetimes, how to make sure that you rigorously engage in this so the Gade Bharagata actually happens. For that matter, we need to leave the imprint of feeling the joy over merely hearing the word Bodhicitta, there should be joy coming in you. Just hearing the word, the wisdom of emptiness, there should be joy in you. If that happens, then your practice is going to be very rigorous. This is how you will invariably dive into this practice. Okay, so for that, we'll recite the following verses. Throughout my future lifetimes, may always be guided by the compassion of Buddha and be able to uphold the true precious Bodhicittas even at the cost of my life. Throughout my future lifetimes, may always be guided by the compassion of Buddha and be able to uphold the true precious Bodhicittas even at the cost of my life. Throughout my future lifetimes, may always be guided by the compassion of Buddha and be able to uphold the true precious Bodhicittas even at the cost of my life. In order to further increase this Bodhicitta from now on, those with discernment who have closely seized and awakened a mind in the Bodhicitta in this way, will have it praised in the following manner. Today my life has borne fruit. Having well obtained this human existence, I've been born in the family of the Buddha and now one of Buddha's children. Thus whatever actions I do from now on must be in accord with the family. Never shall it disgrace or pollute this noble and unsullied race. Just like a blind man discovering a jewel in a heap of rubbish, likewise by some coincidence an awakened mind has been born within me. As a supreme ambrosia that overcomes the sovereignty of death, is the inexhaustible treasure that eliminates the all poverty in the world. Is the supreme medicine. tied on the path of conditioned existence. Is the universal bridge that leads to freedom from unhappy states of birth, is the dawning moon of the mind that dispels the torment of disturbing conceptions. Is the great sun that finally removes the misty ignorance of the world, is the quintessential butter from the churning of the mill of Dharma. For all those guests traveling on the path of the conditioned existence, who wish to experience the boundless happiness, this will satisfy them with joy and actually place them in supreme bliss. Today, in the presence of all the protectors, I invite the world to be guests at a festival of temporal and ultimate delight. May gods, demigods, and all be joyful. Okay, Desham prayer. I dedicate the merit thus gathered towards the realization that these prayers of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of 3 times and to the holding of the doctrine, scripture, and insight. May I in all lives, through the forces of this merit, never separate from the 4 wheels of the mind and vehicle, and accomplish all the stages of the path of renunciation, bodhicitta, perfect in the 2 stages. From my 2 collections, vast the space that I've amassed from working with effort at this practice for a great length of time, may I become the chief leading Buddha for all those whose minds wisdom has big blind ignorance. Delta Om Gate Parasangade Bodhiswatyata Om Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhiswatyata Om Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhiswatyata